Bike-Minded is a project run by Lifecycle, a Bristol-based charity that seeks to encourage more people onto two wheels. Their focus is on how cycling can empower people with mental health issues to get out and about and become more social, as well as improving their physical fitness.
How has Bike-Minded helped me? Well, I think the most important thing is socially. It's helped me to get out of my flat and team up with other sort of road users.
I had a very bad problem. I was stuck with cannabis addiction, and it just made me ill. It just brought out my illness.
I had a bit of a tough time mentally, and I've just found it's helped me mentally just to sort of get out, being able to have a bit of freedom.
Tim was wrongly accused of a murder by a member of his family, which started a chain reaction leading to worsening mental health issues.
I had rather bad trauma back in 1997, where a member of my family accused me of quite a horrendous crime. And as a result of that, it ended my career. I lost my home, I lost my baby, I lost everything based on one lie from a member of my own family. So I took another job making furniture, ended up having a works injury, put a 2-inch staple straight in my eye, and then I basically sunk to a low, and then I became ill with cancer. And then of course I moved down to Bristol at my mum's request to try and help me recover from the cancer, and I moved into a life of nightmare neighbours for 6 years. And that's what brought me here, really, to the point that I'm at now with my sort of mental illness. You know, it's more depression and anxiety and stress related, all mine.
Bike-Minded is a self-referral project which is open to anyone who's experiencing issues with their mental well-being, or people who just want to look after their mental well-being. We've been going since 2010, so for 4 years now. For those who take part, it's a fun way to kind of get out there, get on a bike, get out into nature, and to enjoy, you know, a group cycle ride. My
mum died when I was 12. Yeah, she was killed on a bike actually when I was 12 years old. 1988, a week before Christmas. That certainly brought the depression on, but I soon got back into the bike very soon. You know, I always think it's a kind of memory, you know, memorial. You know, I'm not going to let that stop me cycling. You know? And I think facing your fears, you know, makes things easier. So I cycle for her, I guess. Yeah.
I like getting out. I like socialising, and I think I see that everybody else really gets loads from it. So it's just nice to be part of that experience for them as well. And also, I find that I can help, I can support them, and sort of makes me feel good about myself as well.
Being surrounded by people as you cycle makes the whole experience more fun for volunteers and members alike.
Exercise helps with mental well-being, improved mood. I think a lot of us are aware of that. And so people with perhaps existing mental health problems, depression or whatever, may well get benefit from that, as well as getting good exercise, of course, which is great for all of us. I got involved in Bike-Minded because they were looking for more volunteers to support their rides. They're looking for people who were experienced and reasonably confident cyclists. And I thought, that's me, and I enjoy cycling, so I volunteered.
Bike-Minded helps Tim to cope with his mental illness.
I think it had a massive impact. In fact, I think it was more my mental illness that affected my physical state, because with my mental illness, you get to the attitude where you've just got no enthusiasm to do anything. So I could probably get up in the morning and I'll sit there for the rest of the day and won't do anything. So it's affecting me physically because I'm not doing anything. So, and this is how it's affected me rather than the other way around. But then I started to do the cycling, and then I found out that by doing the physical side of it, it was helping me improve mentally. So it kind of works both ways, really.
Bike-Minded is a self-referral project and participants come to the group for many different reasons. Some, like Daniel, whose deteriorating mental health and increasing cannabis addiction led to his being sectioned, was referred by his mental health worker.
I eventually ended up in hospital in Southmead, and well, ever since then, I mean, I have to take tablets every day, basically. So I've been ill for about 14 years, I think, it's something like that.
I think the most rewarding thing for me whilst working with Bike-Minded is getting to meet different people. There are some really good characters, really interesting people, and also finding different areas to cycle. I think without Bike-Minded, I probably wouldn't know about half of the cycle rides in and around Bristol. It's got me out and got me thinking where's good to go.
I always liked cycling, that's definitely one thing. My mother was a cyclist. All my family were cyclists, actually. And my granddad was cycling into his 80s. He had a motorbike as well. My uncle had a cycle shop, and that's how the whole family got into it, really.
People who get involved in this project find it inspires them to other activities.
I've got a little bit of I've started a hobby now, and that's bikes. What I'm trying to do is restore bikes. In fact, I've just restored an old 1958 racing bike that was it was found in a shed covered in undersill. Everything was just covered, even the wheels were covered in undersill. They just painted everything. And I just stripped it all down, restored it completely, and it's like a new bike. Anything to do with cycling, yeah, it's good for myself. And I'm trying to encourage other people to get out on their bikes now.
I've been volunteering for Bike-Minded now for just coming up a year. The most rewarding things, there's a couple I can think of. One of them is a particular participant who started off very hesitantly on the short rides, gradually built up, and now we see him coming along to all the really long rides as well. And he really didn't think he could do it initially, and now he's one of our strongest riders. That's been very satisfying.
Cycling's important for mental health because it's a great way of getting out of yourself. Sometimes, especially certain times of the year or certain weather, you can be stuck inside, and it doesn't help your mental health. It doesn't help how you're feeling. So it's a good way of releasing endorphins, and also it's very sociable. So if you're spending a lot of time on your own and you want to be around people, but you don't want to feel like you have to talk all the time, then going on a bike ride is good because you've got the option of talking if you want to, or just switching off and enjoying what's going on around you. I think Bristol's a good place for cycling because it has really good cycling infrastructure. If I was to compare it to other places, I'd say Bristol's one of the best in the country for thinking about the designing with cyclists in mind. I think the fact that it's hilly shouldn't put people off, because if you've got a bike with gears, then that can make it quite nice to get up the hills. And with anything, the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Bike-Minded social riding is a starting point for Tim's greater ambitions.
I did suggest to my support worker that I wanted to do a charity cycle ride, either a lone ride or 2 or 3 of us over a sort of 9-day period, 8 to 9 day period, cycling from John O'Groats to Land's End. And we wanted to do this. I wanted to do it for 2 reasons. First of all, I wanted to do it for my mental well-being, because I wanted to try and push myself. I just wanted to get out on the road and just have that freedom of the road. And I wanted to get fit at the same time, but I also wanted to try and raise some money for Second Step, possibly Life Cycle, to help these charities that have helped me, that can help other people. And because they've done a lot for me, and I wanted to give something back, but it's also helping me by giving that back because it's helping me mentally as well.
I love cycling. I love the freedom of it. I like the fact that you're in touch with your surroundings. It's a really hot sunny day today, so there's lots of different smells, even just the smell of hot tarmac I quite like, but there's cut grass, flowers. It's just nice being in touch with your surroundings. I love it for the freedom.
Today's bike ride went really well. Everyone could cycle it, which was nice. Sometimes we get people who struggle a little bit with the hills, but the level was pretty equal, I think. Managed to get up the enormous hill.
Everything that affects my life in general is just right to the back of my mind. Just enjoyed the ride. I just enjoyed everything about it.
In sunshine and in rain, the project runs throughout the year, giving participants an active focus to their week and has a positive effect on mental well-being.